with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are going. Come on, it's lovely weather, boys are ready.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. Thank you so much for tuning in recently. Please do subscribe, share, like, whatever you watch, because some of the content below is amazing, I think. Loving the show, loving doing it, and glad to have these two on now. Two of my favourites. How you doing? Sav and Prime.
Hey.
Hey.
Alright. Yeah, I'm good at the moment. Currently have the game on as well, so
How's that going?
it's 1-1. So yeah.
He's multitasking.
Like
The
that.
less said about that game, the better. But yeah, it's great to be on here. So
No, yeah, cheers guys. Thanks for coming on so much. Means a lot. Actually, before we get into anything, Sav, can I just shout out your jumper?
Phil Mitchell. 'Tis the season to get Phil Mitchelled.
That's two now. I want a third one next time.
So I will find one.
Hopefully a Pat Butcher one with the big earrings or
I
something.
don't have one of those.
No,
No, I haven't got Pat Butcher. I don't know why. I should have, but I haven't.
you got to get a Peggy one, haven't you, for her? Like recently, you know what I mean?
Yeah, get out my pub one.
Get out my club. Get out my club. That's what we should have, like some football fans.
Yeah.
We were going to delve into something quite serious, actually, weren't we? You know, talking with a little bit of banter to intro it, but the kneeling down that still happens at the start of games, and it's getting a lot of criticism, isn't it? People are kind of getting fed up with it. Just wanted to ask both of you what your opinions are on this. Like, do you agree with some of them critics, or do you disagree completely? Let's start with you, Sav.
Yeah, I think that, what happened at that Millwall game was disgusting, and that shouldn't be going on. I think that if there's not change, then the kneeling sort of becomes an empty gesture, because it's what it means that's actually matters. If there's no action to what's going on, I mean, I'm all up for it. It doesn't. I think it's a good idea to raise awareness, but unless they actually make change further up the line, then it's like clapping for the NHS. The same sort of motive. If you're not changing anything within the NHS with all the workers, then it's not going to actually make a difference. But I'm all up for the awareness of it completely.
Yeah, do you know what? It does raise awareness, because if people are talking about it and criticising it, then at least they're talking about it. Do you know what I mean? And I see that as a good thing, but I agree, like, there needs to be more done. What do you think, Prime Mate? Like, do you agree or disagree on that? I think Chelsea scored.
Is he going to celebrate or cry?
That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks of it.
Yeah.
basically, I kind of echo what Sav says. I don't agree with the kneeling or the whole say no to racism ads and stuff like that, because they don't make an actual difference. It's just the same thing that happens over and over. They don't actively try to make things change or progress. It's just the same thing that happens.
What do you think? What more can be done, do you think, by the Premier League and I guess FIFA in general, because they're the footballing body, aren't they, for the worldwide majority? What do you make of that? Do you think that they should be doing more, or do you think it's just people in general and fans that need to actually go out and make get awareness of what's going on?
I think everyone can. I think in terms of the higher ups, they can. Banning people from stadiums is all well and good, but if someone has, I guess, racist thoughts, or they were brought up incorrectly, I don't know what solely banning someone is going to do. I think it should be more about educating them.
Right.
I think that would be more effective. But again, the higher ups are not going to do anything because they don't care. They don't have to care.
And that's the thing, isn't it, Sav? I agree with Prime 100%. Education is the way forward for people to be able to accept, that we live in 2020 now. You know what I mean? You can't be doing what you did 20, 30 years ago. That's the thing, though, isn't it? People are so used to what they are from their environments from way back when. Do you know what I mean? They don't realise that we live in an age now where that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, I think the times have moved on, and I notice it like in my dad. My dad is awful, and I correct him all the time, but he's like, oh no, this has been happening since the 70s, this is how he spoke. And I'm like, that's not how you speak now though, actually. And that, especially sort of that generation, not all of them, but that generation, they're all very stuck in the times and they won't move forward with it. And I think now we've got an opportunity to start educating people from a young age, you know, that it's not acceptable and it is equal, and that racism isn't, you know, not acceptable on any level, that it can, you know, the times can move on from that. Because I think that era, and sometimes when I've heard him, I just thought, God, if you were next to someone, they'd punch you. Do you know what I mean? He's really awful. So I think that particular generation, from what I've seen, you know, I don't even think half the time he thinks he said anything racist. It's very strange. But no, I think that education is really important, and I think it needs to be done from a young age in schools, because it needs to change, and it should have changed. It shouldn't have to bend the knee at the start of matches to get the message across, because the message should already be across, and that's sort of how I feel about it.
I don't know if you both ever saw an interview. It was Akinfenwa. He went to Lithuania, I believe. It was a really gripping piece, actually. It really touched me. He went to Lithuania because there was no opportunities in England at all for any league at all, and then Lithuania's a club in Lithuania seemed to be interested, and he went over there, and the abuse he got was ridiculous. Like, he'd go in the supermarket and everyone would just stop, you know, like just stop, and just people would come up to him and say, you're not welcome here and all that, and in a supermarket while he's going to get his bread and milk, you know. And when he scored a goal, it all changed. When he started scoring goals and you know, getting more fame around the town for being a good player, do you know what I mean? It changed, and he's just like, I need to get out of here. Like, do you know what I mean? And that was obviously quite some time ago, you know, I think like early 2000s, but it's crazy that what goes on, do you know what I mean, in the game as well, you know, like, and players might even get it at their own clubs from certain people, do you know what I mean? That has happened quite a lot as well, and we've seen a few people get sacked from their positions and stuff. It's a very long way to go, isn't there, until the big governing bodies sort it out, would you say, Prime? Far off?
Yeah, but they're not going to. I don't ever think they're going to sort it out, to be honest. Because, again, like I keep saying, they don't have to care. They're still going to keep making their money. We're all going to keep going to games or paying our subscription for like Sky or Amazon or whatever to watch these games. So they don't, as serious as racism and everything is, or sexism is as an issue, they don't have to care.
Why do you think that is, Sav? Why do you think Prime think that? I mean, I kind of agree with him. I don't think they do care. I think they have to show that they care to sort of keep the whole mentality of what they're doing intact, you know what I mean? Because otherwise everyone will give a backlash, won't they? But what do you make of that?
Yeah, it's like I said before, I think it's the empty gesture thing. And like I said, you know, we shouldn't have to be doing these. We shouldn't have to be raising the awareness, because the awareness should already be there. You know, that should have been implemented from a long time ago. But like you said, they do it to, you know, show that they are doing it, but then there's no change happening. I completely agree with Prime on what he says. They don't care, and I think it's awful. Moving
swiftly on, which is actually a similar subject, that the wearing the rainbow armbands. Now that's been getting a lot of stick as well from a lot of people. Only that I've noticed from what I've been reading in the papers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? People saying like, shouldn't it be your choice to do that or not? You know what I mean? Or be a part of that movement or not? What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same as, you know, what we've just been speaking about. I've seen tweets about rainbow laces, and it brings all the homophobia out in the comments, and it's awful to see. And this is why something like rainbow laces is so important, because people shouldn't be speaking like that. And, you know, people should be free to be who they want to be. I'm really glad they're raising awareness to it, actually. because, like, I mean, even when I was younger, I remember there was a guy in my school who came out as gay, and that was a huge thing. Like, everyone was like, oh my God. Oh. And now, you know, it's a normal thing. You know, people come out and it's just completely accepted, except for you get these odd people who are like the ones in the comments on Twitter who are just completely homophobic, and they're the ones that need educating. So I'm glad that they're doing it, because it's bringing awareness to it. And, you know, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it at all.
Would you agree with that, Prime?
Yes and no. The armband is fine, but again, my whole thing is, what difference does it necessarily make? I think until like a footballer comes out as gay or bisexual.
There is one, isn't there, in the Premier League,
who's
apparently. I don't know who it
Who is
is.
Exactly.
I don't know who it is. Apparently there is a Premier League footballer who said that he won't come out because of the stigma that he will get. I read an article on that a little while back. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. But like, that's like helping contribute to what I'm saying. That's the fact that there is one, and I'm sure there's plenty more, but they're not going to come out. They're not going to come out for a reason. A lot of it is the backlash you'll get from people with backwards thoughts, but also from the other side of things, they'll be used as this, big page spread of basically the face of, gay footballers and stuff like that. And for me, that's also not right. You should be who you are, fine, but I think that should basically be it. If, you're a gay footballer, fine, but you shouldn't be labeled you are a gay footballer. You're just a footballer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. It doesn't matter whether you're gay. Do you know what I mean? Like, to play football, you should be. But then, look, I do get what you're saying, the fact that if they do come out gay, they'll be the first ever football player to come out gay while they're playing. And that could make it even worse for them. Do you know what I'm saying? The pressure that they'd be put under, and saying like they're the first person, everyone would want to interview them and ask them, like, how does it feel to be the first player coming out gay? They might not want to be that sort of that person in the media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Instead of focusing on, like, talking about the game or the club they're at or their form or whatever it may be, everything will be focused around the fact that they're gay. But we see what the media is like, and they do the same thing with see the way the media have treated Sterling, see the way they're now treating Greenwood and Rashford, how they treat Callum Hudson back during lockdown and stuff like that. If someone comes out as gay, they're going to make it 100 times worse. I mean, a few years back, I heard that the gay footballer was Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and then everyone just ran with it. And they made it worse from both sides. So the fact that we don't know, I don't think, if I was a footballer and I was gay, I wouldn't come out, because why would I?
Because there's a lot of pressure to take on, isn't it? It's not the fact that you don't want to say that you're gay. It's the fact that everyone will just keep going on at it. Do you know,
it's also a thing of you don't need to know, do you? Like, for me,
that's a good point.
There's probably, like, at Chelsea, there's probably a few gay footballers, but I don't really care. So long as you're playing for my team and you're benefiting my team and winning trophies and stuff, I really don't care.
Would you agree with that, Sav? Like, that kind of changed my perspective on it a little bit, what Prime said there. The fact that
I completely.
We shouldn't really care what sexual preference you fancy, yeah?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And, it's like, it doesn't change them as a player. They're just a football player. So, and the media, they are awful for it. They would be onto that, and they, like Prime said, they would run with that till, all big page spread of it. And it doesn't matter. It does, people are free to be who they want to be. They're football players. They're no different.
I guess it'd be better as well to wait until you retire and then say, because then you can feel more comfortable about it, because you can spend your life saying, I was a football player, I came out gay. Do you know what I mean? Like, and people will still be interested if people do want to sort of come out at the end, and I'm cool with that. It would be nice to see someone actually take the step and say, like, I'm cool with it and I can take that pressure on. I'd salute them. But I do agree that not everybody is like that in football. You do get quiet people anyway, and it could be someone who's quiet in the media anyway. Let alone having that like come out, like, you know what I mean? It's like you don't want that sort of media attention, do you? Just on your sexual preference. So let's go on to a bit of football now, then, shall we? Finally, sorry about that, but it needs to be talked about, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I'm glad we did. How are you feeling, Sav, about the Premier League at the moment, and who surprises you at the moment with their positions?
Do you know, there's a couple that stand out. Well, actually, I think there's three. West Ham are surprising me because they're usually in the bottom half of the table battling with us. You know, they've had some quite good results recently. And Aston Villa have done better than what I thought they were going to do this season. But like I said before on your other show, they did some really good business in the transfer window. So maybe that's not as surprising as what I think. And obviously, you know, got to be highlighted, Arsenal. What on earth is going on with them at the moment? I watched them the other night. They should have been down to 9 men. Honest to God, how they got away with that, and that was a yellow, is unbelievable. But no, that's shocking them. But you know, people are blaming Arteta. I don't necessarily think their issue is Arteta. I think it runs a little bit deeper than that, and I think it's been going on for a while. So, yeah, they're the ones at the moment that are quite surprising. And we've got Arsenal in the FA Cup, so I'm hoping that they're still playing shocking for the time that we get to them.
You do. That's a very lucky draw for you right now, and they've got a few hard games coming up, haven't they, Arsenal? So Chelsea,
Yeah, definitely.
Boxing Day, innit? Prime.
Our Arsenal Boxing Day, yeah, that's going to be fun. It's so fun.
What about you, Prime? Like, who's like surprised you so far in the Premier League, like on their positionings?
Aston Villa, Southampton.
Yeah.
Arsenal don't really surprise me, to be honest, because they've been dropping gradually every single season.
West Ham have surprised me.
Yeah, West Ham are 6th, yeah. Man City are 9th. That surprises me.
That's a surprise. That's a shock. They're going all out for Champions League, aren't they? Though surely this season they really want that.
Why do people assume that?
Do you know why? Because I think it seems like last season as well, they didn't seem to give too much a damn about their performances, and it looks the same this season as well. Like, I know everyone's had a bit of a dodgy start in the Premier League, and it is really open, but I think Guardiola won't stay as long as everyone thinks he will. For some reason, people think he's going to stay until they win it, and if that's the case, he's going to want to win it very quickly because he.
Yeah, but then you're telling me that he is not going to challenge for the lead this season, and since the group stage has started in September, he's been focusing on the Champions League. So that's not an excuse to be 9th, because then what you're telling me is he then has to win the Champions League this season, which I don't think he will.
I actually, I have in my own opinion, Prime, I kind of think that they might win it this year. I don't know. It's a funny thing about it. I don't really have a backup. I don't understand why I feel like that. But for some reason, I just feel that. And I just think he might feel the same. He might feel like this could be their year. But that's...
I get where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. The squad they have, the manager they have, they should be one of the favourites. But Pep, in big games, he always tries to do something. And I guess it looks like he's trying to prove how smart he is. And it doesn't work, and ends up failing instead of just sticking to your philosophy. Yeah, I don't know. But then again, just who else is strong in Europe right now? Even Bayern Munich, as great as they are, they can still be got at. So maybe.
What do you think, Sav? Do you think? What do you think about Man City? Do you think they're what we were just saying there? Do you think they're going for the Champions League? Do you think that's really what matters to them? The fact that they haven't won it is something that's sort of been kept far away from their grasp, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but I don't think that's really a massive excuse for letting it slide in the Premier League like they have, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'm not sure really what's going on with them at the moment. But yeah, 9th, actually, I didn't think of them. 9th is a bit shocking for them, considering.
And that
considering the players they've got as well.
Yeah. It's mental. Like, I agree with you, Prime, there. You know what I mean? Like, I was I was probably wrong in saying that, but I don't think they're just doing it. There's no reason. It's not. There's no what do you call it? Blaming the fact that they're trying to win the Champions League over the Premier League. I don't think so. But I think he's looking at it now, thinking he's probably got more chance of winning that than getting the Premier League. Would you say that?
Yeah, but it would only make sense for me if we're in March, April. That is when you get to the quarterfinals, and then he starts focusing more on the Champions League then. But I know we're in December now, but like since the season started, that's not an excuse,
No,
in my opinion.
I don't think so.
Not to be. If you were fourth, then fine. I guess you could say, okay, fine, focus on the Champions League. But you're ninth. That's not an excuse for me.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's an excuse at all. I just think that he might be able to use that right at the end of the season as an excuse. Maybe. So who else surprises you? I mean, I was a little surprised by Leeds start, but they're still low at the moment, aren't they, in the league table? Do you know what I mean? I want to see them pick up a little bit because they could be fighting for relegation themselves.
14th. No, I think Leeds are exactly where they should be, roughly. They play good football, attractive football. They can take on just about anyone. They showed that against Liverpool first game of the season. But defensively, they've got a bit of an issue. They need to fix up there. Also, they gas out too quickly. When we played them last week, or I guess the week before now, they first 15, 20 minutes, and they scored early as well. First 15, 20 minutes, they were all over Chelsea, brilliant. But then we grew into the game, we settled, Leeds gassed out, and then we were able to hit them 3 times and beat them. Bielsa's a tactical genius, but I don't know, it's something there he needs to tweak. Because in the Championship, the reason why they didn't get relegated or promoted earlier, or come up earlier, I should say, is because the way he plays his intensity, it tends to gas them out near the end. And hopefully, depending if there's a chance, maybe if they're fighting for, like, maybe there's a chance to fight for a European spot, that could push them over the line, keep them going. But, like, if they're dragged into a relegation battle, which I don't think they will be, but if they're dragged into a relegation battle, it could be tough.
They might get out of it though. They got the manager and a good squad as well. Well, haven't Newcastle got Leeds coming up, Sav? What do you make of Newcastle's chances of beating Leeds? I think looking at your performances, especially the last performance, wasn't too bad.
It was, do you know, the first 10 minutes we were blinding. I thought we played really well in comparison to what we normally play. And then we started doing that age-old thing that we do where we just sat back. And that was when, we started struggling. And the problem with Leeds is, they've got some really fast players. Steve Bruce has been in the press conference today, bigging them up. He said how fantastic they are. And, we're going to try. But, and this is the problem. We go out there with that mentality, we're going to try because Steve Bruce, that's what he said. And then we sort of set up to fall. I've got a horrible feeling we're going to start 5 at the back. Although we're pretty low on defenders with the COVID going around. So maybe he won't. I'm not sure. It depends who's available. But I've just had especially Leeds, it's been one of them fixtures that I've been dreading a little bit. Because I think their style of play is not going to be suited to us because they're going to run at us and we're going to sit back and defend the ball for 90 minutes and they'll sneak the odd couple through is what I think will happen. I'll probably be completely wrong, but I don't really know. Our football style is just boring. We were lucky. He made a good couple of subs the other day, which is what won the game for us. But whether or not he'll do that 2 games in a row, you can't expect too much from him. Who knows, really?
What would you say about that prime Newcastle's chances against Leeds?
I think if Newcastle can get through that first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, then yeah, you've got a chance of beating them. Because as I know you guys don't like Bruce or anything, but you do have good players. Callum Wilson, I don't know what's happening with Joelinton, but he seems to be on some sort of form right now. You've got St. Maximin. You've got a good defense. You've got a good goalkeeper. You're good enough. Where you are right now, roughly what mid-table is where you should be. So like, even with the fact that you guys want Bruce out, and I get all of that, but you're doing exactly what you should be doing, I think.
We're playing a lucky old bit of Bruce ball. We sneak those wins. Oh my God, with the state of Callum Wilson the other day, the actual like shithousery that he was doing on the pitch, I was laughing. You shouldn't laugh, and people was like, oh, how dare you say that? But it was brilliant. We just scrape these lucky wins. It will be nice to see a day when our watchers play and actually enjoy it, and we actually look motivated for the entire 90 minutes. It feels like a dream at the moment, but you know, we've been getting the points. I suppose, you know, as the pundits all say about Steve Bruce, is doing a good job. And I suppose if you look at the fact that we're in, you know, we're in 12th, we're not really low on points. We're not battling in relegation area at all. I suppose I can kind of see what they say, but then I don't think they watch us religiously week after week, obviously, for what they're saying if they looked at us playing. But yeah, Brian's right. We have got some really good players, and I hope that one day they might play some entertaining football, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, no, I do watch Newcastle, and I do get it. He's not playing good football or anything. But again, I guess what masks it, like I said, you do have good players. You have a good goalkeeper. You have a good defense. You've got Wilson, who's, you know, one of the better finishers in the league. You've got good players around it. So no matter what he does, you're still gonna get through it. And I mean, you are where you are for a reason, not because of him, but because of the players that you have to mask his bad performances.
Yeah, completely agree with that.
Quite well put there, Prime. I was like, I can't against that. to mask his errors, I like that. I really like that.
I try.
Guys, we're going to end up right now, pretty much, because we're running out of time. Thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to shout out your social medias, let everyone know where they can find you, if you want them to, that is?
Yeah, my Twitter is at Sav Mondo, and I'm on Ladies' Night on Steve Rafe's show on a Monday at 7:30.
It's a great show, by the way, as well.
Thank you.
It's good. Enjoy it. Prime, what about you, mate? Where can we find you?
Yeah, my Twitter is Ladimus Prime X, where I'm rattling Arsenal fans. You can catch me on the terrace as well, which is quite fun. Catch me on here or anywhere else really, because I parent on stuff. Also my own channel where I just like sit down and interview people, which is quite fun for me. So yeah.
When are you going to get Sav on your show?
Anytime, whenever.
I'm throwing that in there, and I just believe.
Whenever she's available, or if she wants to come on, whenever.
Awesome.
I'd love to see this. This would be great. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, today. Football United TV, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Hit that subscribe, share, like, do what you can. And thanks for helping us out. And thank you both for coming on. And see you hopefully maybe next week before Christmas, not on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, because I wouldn't do that to you and I wouldn't do that to myself. Like, we're going to be busy around that period, aren't we, surely? Do you know what I mean? Even though this lockdown...
Oh, I thought you meant you just don't want to hang out with us at Christmas then, Matt. I was almost offended.
Oh, I do, but I just what you want, you know? Like,
fuck's sake. Oh.
You're right, Prime.
Yeah, Wolves just won 2-1.
Oh.
Yeah, now I've got to go on the terrace, and yeah.
Let's go and watch Prime on the terrace then. Everybody, thanks for tuning in, and bye-bye.